Well, thanks very much for the introduction. So I'm Krishan Ramdoo, the founder and CEO at TympaHealth. I'm an ENT surgeon by background, and today I'm just going to walk you through kind of what we're doing at TympaHealth, where we are today, and actually what we plan to do in the future, and where our financing rounds are coming up as well. So at Tympa, we really have a vision of how we can truly democratize ear and hearing healthcare across the world, not only here in the UK, the US, but in developing low-income resource countries. And we're managing to do that with our solution. We have an all-in-one solution, which is a hardware and software solution, which allows you to take the whole ear clinic out into the community in the hands of the non-specialists, but do it in a digital way. And the way that we went about that solution was, if I take it back right to the beginning, I've been a clinician now for 12 years. In the last few years, very much focused on Tympa. But very early in my career, I had a patient who came in to the care of the elderly ward. And she was brought in and was thought to have an infection. She was treated for that, but she was still very disengaged with the ward and not very communicative. So me, being a budding ENT surgeon, I thought, well, let me go and have a look in her ears. So I went to have a look in her ears, and it was full of wax. So I thought, well, let me just go and take her down to the ENT department, remove the wax. And at that point, I got her a hearing test. Lo and behold, she had age-related hearing loss. And we fitted her with a hearing aid, and she was a completely different lady. She was planning her 80th birthday, engaged with her family. And I thought, that simple intervention has made such a big impact on this lady's life. And actually, hearing loss is a huge issue. There's 500 million people in the world with disabling hearing loss. By 2030, it's actually going to overtake diabetes and cataracts in the top 10 disease burdens. And it affects everybody. And what some people may not know is that hearing loss is the single biggest modifiable risk factor for prevention of dementia. You're 3 times more likely to have a fall, and it's intrinsically linked to social isolation. So I went on this journey, and as I was seeing the pathway, access was incredibly difficult. And it currently takes people about 12 to 16 weeks to actually access care for their ear and hearing healthcare. And they go to multiple different professionals, multiple specialists, and I thought there has to be a better way. And that's where I looked to streamline this pathway. And we did that with our Tympa system. And that now allows you to do that whole pathway, now shortened down to one 30-minute appointment, but as I said at the beginning, with an allied health professional. And this is the Tympa pathway. We've developed a tool which allows you to do otoscopy, wax removal, and hearing screening all in one device. And it really shortens this and makes care much more accessible. And at the moment, there isn't a system in the world which brings all of these elements together. There are systems which allow you to do various parts of that pathway, but not all integrated into one, and not all done in a digital way. And this is the tool itself. It has multiple attributes. It gives you a high-definition image of the eardrum. It allows you to do wax removal, of which 30 to 40% of patients end up having, and it does a hearing assessment. You're able to link in with specialists and create a unique digital health record, almost like an ear health passport. And by doing so, we've amassed a significant amount of data, and I'll come on to that later. But that allows us to be much more informed as to where someone is at, let's say, year 1 with their hearing, and where they are at year 5, and could we pick up things earlier? And we developed a unique training system which has allowed us to scale up here in the UK. And why is it unique? So, as I said, there isn't a device in the world at the moment. We've got multiple global patents sitting around that technology. We published multiple papers around the system. And as I mentioned the data, to date, the kit has been used on more than 200,000 patients. We're seeing currently about 12,000 patients a month passing through our pathway. And with that, we've created what I believe is, and from the published data suggests, the world's largest bank of ear and hearing health information. Not just the images and videos, but some associated health information as well. And it creates that connected, universal digital health record. We're regulatory compliant, so CE marked and FDA cleared, 510K exempt. Very fortunate to date, we have been well-backed and well-financed. We closed our seed round, which is quite a large seed round last year, of an 8 million round of funding, with some funding before that as well. But we've got a great team. So I'm very fortunate that our chairman has joined recently. He has stepped down in April as the chairman of the NHS, and came in as a chairman at Tympa. And he's been really driving force. We, of course, we are an NHS spin-out as well. And then we've got a bunch of investors out there, notably folks like Jim Breyer from Breyer Capital, founding investor in Facebook, and a number of other folks around with us. And notably, we have KHB Ventures, who were the first spin-out venture fund from the NHS, and we, alongside 5 other companies, were one of the first 5 to be invested in. Where we are at the moment is we're looking at these new opportunities. There's significant headwind in the ear and hearing health space. Only a month ago, there was a new FDA regulation which allowed for over-the-counter hearing aids now to be delivered in sectors outside of audiology. And with our data as well, we feel we can really support that journey. And the over-the-counter hearing aid legislation was actually talked about in 2017, but it took such a long time to pass because people were suggesting, well, how could you give an over-the-counter hearing aid solution to someone who hasn't had checked to make sure there isn't a diagnostic problem, there isn't just wax, or actually do they have a severe hearing loss? And we at Tympa feel we have a really good opportunity to provide that due diligence beforehand. At the moment, we're in multiple sectors in the UK. We're in pharmacy. Before we entered into space, pharmacists were not delivering the service. We now have more than 100 different pharmacies using our solution in the country. We're in 3 of the top 5 high street audiologists. We're in the optical space, the care home space, and of course, within the NHS. And with the data that we're bringing together, we feel there's an opportunity for us to have a role in predictive health. So whether that person has normal hearing at year 1 and then has abnormal hearing at year 5, was there something that we could have picked up earlier? Was there something we could have done to slow down their progression of their dementia? And because of the utilization that we're having, with 12,000 patients passing through a month, each of those individuals are very engaged with us to be involved in clinical trials. And there's the opportunity, and we're already having conversations with Dementia UK to look at how we can involve in some of the clinical trials that they're doing as well. So this is where we are now. So Tympa has the opportunity to create this real end-to-end pathway of diagnostic, therapeutics, hearing, and providing a solution. And we're now entering into where we're going to launch within the US, and we're having some multiple conversations. I mean, history is steeped with UK companies trying to go and crack America and doing it wrong. I think we've got a really great base of people who can support us, and we're looking at some really, already in conversations with some really smart, closed pilots. We're here in the UK, we're in Boots UK. If you walked into Boots Hearing Care, a Tympa would be sitting on the desk for your hearing assessment, and there's a very strong link for us moving that towards the US as well. And so we're just about to embark on our next round of funding, which is currently taking place, and we feel we have a real good opportunity to make a footprint in the US, and happy to have some questions at the end.